Recently, I issued an updated version of part of my past book on the so-called Jesus myth thesis. That is, the idea that Jesus didn't exist, not even as a person on earth. The focus of the update was references to Jesus in extra-biblical sources like Josephus and Tacitus. The update reminded me that one of my chief gauges for whether an atheist is worth any attention is their treatment of the reference to Jesus in Tacitus's Annals. So whenever I pick up a book by an atheist that I want to review, I immediately turn to the index, or use an online search method, and perform what you might call the Tacitus Test. And maybe you'd find it useful too. The purpose of the test is to see what they have to say about Tacitus. That in turn gives me an idea whether to expect a volume worthy of at least some respect, or something better suited for... yeah, that. By way of example, we have an atheist work by an author named David Chumney, titled Jesus Eclipsed. On first glance, this Chumney doesn't seem like your garden variety fundy atheist. Yeah, he's an apostate minister, but he was a minister in the Presbyterian Church for 30 years. So in that time, you'd think he'd have picked up some notion of how to do things the right way, right? Not exactly. Here's a screenshot of his entire analysis of Tacitus's reference to Jesus, plus a list of the sources he used. It doesn't include background information he provides like the quoted by Tacitus itself. To say this was a pathetic treatment of the issue would be too kind. The two arguments Chumney gives, that Jesus is called Christ and not Jesus, and that Tacitus based his report on what Christians said, have been repeatedly debunked. France's assessment is not shared by anyone with any level of expertise on Tacitus, and Tacitian scholars do not regard Tacitus as someone who would be that blasé about source work. Chumney has no sources from Tacitian scholarship. This is a botched job of the worst order, but it's apparently the best he could do. I'd like to recommend the Tacitus Test to you as a way to figure out whether a book is worth taking seriously or not. If a fundy atheist does a botched job like this one, then you can pretty well ignore everything else he has to say, and save yourself the time and pain of reading his work.